Hey everybody, today we are going to talk about what it is like to run a 100-mile ultra marathon. I just completed my first 100-mile ultra marathon this past weekend. It was the Daytona 100, where you run from Jacksonville to the lighthouse at Daytona Beach. And it was a wild ride, and it was so much time to really get to learn and understand what this sport is like, while being a little bit different, because a lot of the ultras are not on a hard surface. And I think that that's really what was the downfall of me. Did I complete this? Yes, I completed it, but there was some caveats to that. So the first part of the 100-mile race, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. It was the hardest fucking thing I have ever done. And purely because I believe some combination of the injuries I've had this year, being trained but not probably trained enough for this, carbon plate shoes, hard surfaces, off cambers, all these different little things, an injury like a week and a half ago, I think they all compiled down into the ultimate sufferfest, because my knees started hurting extremely early on in this. And I know that if I was to do another ultra, which I'm sure I'll do another ultra, easily say I would do a 50. 100, I would probably be more interested in a trail 100 now and not a road 100. It's just so jarring for so long. But I know for sure that if I had the same knee pain, I would immediately say, nope, pulling the plug. We're not doing this. We're not doing this again. And the reason I didn't pull the plug is because I was determined to complete this, no matter what the pain was like. But now that I've completed that, I would never go through the excruciating feeling of it feeling like someone was nailing or drilling into the sides of my knees to the point of massive inflammation going down my shins on both sides, like on the outer of my knee. And all I can guess is IT band related, off camber related, all these different things that I already talked about. But it was just brutal, right? It was a sufferfest. So it was figuring out how to deal with that, getting through dealing with that with painkillers and other things and topical stuff. And then once I kind of got that to subside a little bit, it was, other muscles that were just giving out over the pure distance and the pure volume I was putting on my body. So number one, it was brutal. Even though I wasn't super excited about it, I wasn't, big cheering over the line. It felt good to cross that line and know that I stuck it out. And that was purely what was replaying in my head: is you're just getting closer, you're going to make this, there's no reason to quit, you already came this far. After 50 miles, for me, I'm like, it's downhill slide from 50 miles. We only got 50 more, we got through the first half, let's just get it there, no matter what it takes. And it just got slower and slower and slower, right? I ran my marathon at like a 10:30 pace, and it was easy, like we weren't even pushing at all, but still my knees just started eroding so early on that by the time I got to 36 miles, I called my coach and I said, wow, we've got a major problem. By the time I got to 50 miles, I was like, whoa, this is serious. By the time I got to 65 miles, all I could do was walk. My walk went from a fast walk to an excruciating slow walk over the last 10 miles of this thing. So brutal is number one, how this was. Number two, it was really exciting, right? I saw a lot of cool things. I saw a lot of cool areas. There was a lot of beautiful neighborhoods we ran through. There was a lot of awesome people. There were so many people in an aid station where we came in and it was raining in the middle of the night, and I was kind of talking about my knees. Someone that had been at some major big ultras before was like, hey, pain's temporary. Having those other people around you, it's really kind of exciting and interesting to see that other people have this perspective of, hey, we're out here, it's going to suck, it's not going to last forever, get through it at all costs. And so that was a really, really exciting thing to me. I saw a lot of cool different areas of all the way down through Jacksonville, all the way into Daytona. Very, very cool coastline, a bunch of really, really cool people. Had a lot of great conversations with people I ran alongside for miles at a time. And so met quite a few new people while I did that. And then finally, it was perspective changing and educational. You really start to ask yourself when you're suffering, why are you doing this? And I remember going into this, I heard this in a podcast probably the week before, and I think everything happens for a reason. Like everything in life just happens for a reason and happens when it should, right? And that's why you have to have a little bit of faith that things are going to work themselves out. But I heard it probably a week ago, and I shot a podcast about it, of who are you when everything in you wants to quit? That resonated with me. Like, who am I, like in this dire situation where I've got to provide for my family or save my family? Who am I in that moment? And how do you know? How do you test that? Like everyone wants to assume that they're going to be able to go no matter what. And so I got to actually see a little bit of that and truly feel everything in me wanted me to stop this. And I was thinking of my kids. I was thinking about making my kids proud. I was thinking about pushing on and making myself proud, my wife proud, my friend who was there helping me, not getting any sleep, like doing it for him, doing it for anybody that followed and was interested in what I do. And I thought that was so interesting to see that I was able to shift that gear. And I thought I had this in me, but I was able to see the furthest and the most pain I've ever suffered through in my life, and when there was no reason other than those reasons I just listed, which are massive to me. Those are the reasons not to quit, but like I could have just pulled the plug and made it go away. And where I was at is the only way to stop the pain was to finish, because that was the only way any of this was going to end. Otherwise, I was just going to suffer on forever, unless I went so slow that I was to go over the 31-hour cap where they DNF you and cut you out. And this race had a ton of DNFs. 250 people started, 115 people finished. It was monsooning rain all throughout the night. It was all kinds of adversity. My ankles and knee issues were just crazy. The ankle stuff was to be expected. I could have dealt with that. The blisters I could deal with. I could deal with the skin peeling off my feet. The knees were horrible. But so this kind of shifted even some of my perspective, and I think taught me a little bit more. And I remember walking the last 5 miles, even down to the last 2 miles. I was just really, really happy that I felt like I came to the end of this big goal, this big year that was full of adversity and a lot of stuff that was really, really traumatic that nobody liked or nobody enjoyed. And I was able to still accomplish some stuff when a lot of things in my life have felt like I've had very little control. This, I took it by the horns and had all the control and actually got it done. So I think ultimately running an ultra is life-changing, because you're going to learn. You can only learn certain things about yourself when you put yourself in situations you've never been in before. And some situations are lightly into what you've never been before. Like, I've never made a cold call. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's scary and it's sucky, but the pain goes away in 30 seconds when somebody hangs up on you. So you can lightly be into that area, or you can brutally be into that area of perspective changing. And in everything in my life, I think I look back and I see so much stuff has just truly been educational and perspective changing, right? My major injuries that I've had over the course of my life, all the life-changing, scary stuff, it changed my perspective and how appreciative I was for everything. I really feel like finishing that ultra, and what it taught me was even more that I should be trying to enjoy every moment, because I enjoyed all the training way more than the sufferfest of the race. And the races and things like that last a very, very little time. And the training and the everyday and the enjoyment you get out of your life, that the ride, right? It's not about the destination, it's about the ride. Is that enjoyable? So that was what it was like to run an ultra for me. That's what I got out of it. It was brutal. It was teaching. It was perspective. It was learning all of these different things. And it was truly exciting. Would I do it again? I would for sure do it again. Now, would I pull the plug if I was in that pain? That's been my goal right now, is to figure out what caused the pain, why did the knees do what they did, and get this lined out for next time so I have a much better result. Because the goal was 24 hours. I did 26 and a half. I would have killed 24 hours if my body didn't give up on me. I'm blaming it on my body. And really, that's my fault.